Vikings Nation. Yeah, today I'm calling today Black Monday. Probably a little shouldn't do that, but it's how I feel right now. It's just it was such a tough loss. I wanted to go into the second quarter, 3-1. That would have been like really, really good, but couldn't get it done. And here we are. Although when you think about the score, we only allowed 16 points. Generally speaking, when we allow 16 points, we should win the game because our offense can at least get us 20 points or so. You would think, right? But not to be. Um, I'm starting to think that maybe Kirk Cousins might be ruining the chance of someone else ever getting a guaranteed contract. If he doesn't change and start producing like we were hoping he would, I think that guaranteed contract idea is it's just not going to happen again. He's not earning his money. Let's put it that way. Um, Speaking of earning, I love to earn your trust and have you listen to my podcast in the future. So subscribe. Um, so today I have some what I call top posts from some of the forums that I go to, Minnesota Vikings forum. So let's start with a post from the Purple Pain forum. And this is from James, who I used to interact with back in the day. We used to have a site called wearevikingfans.com that the Vikings started. And, James is pretty upset here. Pretty upset here with Kirk Cousins. He's writing Cousins a letter here, and it says, "Please retire. You've done enough damage, and you're not the quarterback a lot of us thought you were going to be. You're basically the same player you were in Washington. Washington obviously had more sense than we did when they chose to franchise you rather than sign you to a huge contract, which we did. I'll admit that I was the one excited to have you here originally because I thought with more weapons around you, you'd have a better chance to succeed. But I was wrong. You're still terrible. You're just padding. You're stat padding. You're at least if you never play another game as a Viking once your contract is up, you make me sick, Kirk. I wish we all could get overpaid to suck at our jobs, but unfortunately, every company is not stupid like the Vikings. Please leave," is how James left it. James is upset. He's very upset, and I think he's justified. When you pay a guy $84 million, you're expecting big things. So there you go, James. My friend, diehard Twins fan, says, "Yeah, yep, faith lost. May as well see what happens at the end of the season. Zimmer's seat is probably hot as Rick's, I'm guessing. Yeah, I think, if they don't make the playoffs, it's going to be tough to want to do this again next year. If I'm the owners, the ownership here. I agree with you, diehard. Uh, I can't, the Levanthan, I'm not sure how to pronounce this next poster, but this was really, really poorly coached game on both sides of the ball. The defense was too passive and the offense never adjusted. The corners played too soft and the linebackers looked lost. The O-line couldn't move anyone and there was no separation in the secondary. Oh, and the quarterback held the ball too long all day. Zimmer has too many duds like this on his repertoire for my liking. He's clearly making a statement here. It was just a bad, bad game, and I think what he says here makes a lot of sense. Let me go to the next one. This is from Dan Chat, the great Dan Chat. I've watched enough football games at Soldier Field to know that they usually save their worst play for this game. Plus, it was another game for Cousins versus a team with a winning record, which meant that this was already a sure loss. The defense shocked me how poor the coverage was. Chase Daniel was just slicing and dicing, and if they let him air it out more in the second half, it easily would have been more points. Rhodes can't cover anyone, folks. If pass rush doesn't come down hard as it really does in road games. The QBs are inadequate. Keep in mind the Bears were down 4 to 6 starters this game, and we still got whooped. The only group that played well was run defense. Again, these are just tough to read, but they're true. They're just true. And then we have Hunter Mora. I'm putting heat on the coaching. Cousin is their idea. Having a team with Adam Thielen, Stephon Diggs, Rudolph, Irv Smith, and dynamic pass catching RBs, and having your principal target wind up to be C.J. Ham. I totally agree with that. Why are we throwing slants to C.J. Ham? How is that going to help us? He can't catch. Let him block. That's all he can do is block. I mean, he's a very good blocker. Why are we throwing slants and other types of throws to C.J. Ham? I agree with you, Hunter. Targeting Adam Thielen 2 times in 50 minutes, getting blown off the field, and time of possessions again, running it up the gut constantly to get stuffed for 2 or 3 yards in eternity. Need yards to set up long shot field goals. Do a slow developing play to Rudolph for like 6 yards. All these terrible give up calls. Mismanaging the clock too. They also started flat as a pancake, the old simmer special. We're going to make adjustments at halftime. Herp derp, whatever that means. But Hunter, I totally agree with you on the C.J. Ham, message here. Why the Christ are we throwing, passes to C.J. Ham? He's a blocker. He's a fullback. He's a great blocker. Let him hit linebackers. That's his job. And the last post is from this D Vike 27. Always has something great to say. This guy should be running for president or something. Why wait to the end of the game to put playmakers in like number 81, which is Beasley Johnson? Where was he all game long? Why all of a sudden at the end of the game, you're putting the players that you believe in, the players that you think will win the game, when it's way too late? Why don't you put the guy in early in the game and see what he can do? And why doesn't Eric Wilson have more playing time? I know that, the other linebacker, 42, is good technique and all that, but he doesn't make any plays. He just doesn't make any plays. Gideon. Gideon doesn't make any plays. Eric Wilson does. Get him in there with Barr and in the middle linebacker. And why not run reverses and those types of plays on offense when we're clearly struggling? Change it up a bit. Give him something to think about. And so my deflated ball goes to the coaching staff. It really does. I mean, I think we should bring back Mike Tice. He was a great coach. So those are my top posts from yesterday. Really tough game, and it's going to be a tough week. I would say New York's game, the game against the Giants, that's going to be a must win. I don't want to be below 500 going into the second quarter. Just don't want to do it. So hope you're having a good day. Let's get him next Sunday. Skol, 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 skol.